Good morning, class 9 students. I am your mathematics teacher, and this is the introduction part 1 video for the chapter 2 coordinate geometry. Now let's begin with the second chapter, coordinate geometry. Let's understand what is coordinate geometry. So coordinate geometry contains a word, this geometry. So it is easy to say that coordinate geometry is a type of geometry only. Now this geometry word again contains two words, that is geo and metry. This word geo means the earth or related to the geographic areas and things over the earth. Okay, and this metry, the word metry means to measure something by using any method over the earth or using any measuring method over the earth to measure anything over the earth's surface is called as the geometry. Then if I tell you to measure the distance of any line segment, you can easily do that. You can use your scale to measure the length of the line segment. If I tell you to find out the area of a triangle, you will be able to do that by using the Pythagoras theorem or using any formula of circle, trapezium, parallelogram. You can easily measure out the area of the structures by using the formulas given by different geometry measurements. Okay, so this is very easy to find out the distances. Again, coordinate geometry is a part of geometry where we find out the distances. Okay, but why do we need this coordinate geometry when we have already so many methods of measurement like this Pythagoras theorem, other geometric formulas and mensuration to find out volumes also? Then why do we need this coordinate geometry? So see, suppose if you have two objects, for suppose these two are some objects, and you have to find out the distance of these objects from each other. Okay, from each other. So you can use, either you can use, if the distance is very small, you can use your scale. If the distance is little bigger, you can use this measuring tape or anything else. But if the distance is so far, like from this point to that point over the earth's surface, there should be some reference point in between to find out the distance between the 2 points. So this is where the coordinate geometry comes and plays the role. Coordinate geometry finds out the distances between the 2 points or the object. Okay, for that it makes a reference point. It takes an object and makes it a reference point. For suppose in this room, you have where the floor is like a chessboard. Okay, in this room we take this boy as a reference point, and with reference to this boy we can find out any other distance, like for suppose the distance between the box and the boy, distance between this star above the floor also. So this is where the coordinate geometry comes and plays the role. It always divides the floor or divides the given plane into the grids. You can see over here the lines are formed on the globe also. You can see these kinds of lines. So these lines divide the uh, plane or the given earth surface or the floor into different points. Okay, so and then we use the coordinate geometry to find out the distance between the two objects. For suppose we have to find out the distance of the object box from this boy, so you can easily say that it is two squares away, these two boxes away, squares away from the boy. The box is two boxes or two squares away from the boy. Even if this box changes the position, it comes here, then here, and then finally it reaches over here. So again, at any point when it was moving also, we can say that how many squares away the box was. Correct. So in that way we can find out the distance between the two objects using the coordinate geometry. So coordinate geometry is the system that uses one or more numbers or coordinates to uniquely determine the position of the points or other geometric elements. So further, let's see how and why do we need the coordinate geometry. So for measuring or locating different points on the paper, for suppose this is a point on the paper, so how will you say you will give points or measure, how will you locate this point on the paper? You can measure the number of lines above this point and you can give it as the number, that is 20, or you from the below also you can measure or leave some lines how and you can come to this point. So here it is 5 above from the below line, okay, and 20 below this first line. So here you can give the location to the point on the paper, that is 20 from above and 5 from below. Correct. Okay. And it coordinate geometry can also be used in the construction field, like you measuring different distances between two pillars or different structures while you doing the construction. We have already seen how the grids are being made over the globe and we use them for the reference of the to make the different map and symbols on the maps. Then we use this coordinate geometry in the aviation to give the directions to the uh, plane to fly. Okay, also when we have to measure different distances in the universe, okay, between two heavenly bodies, we cannot use any measuring tape or Pythagoras theorem or any kind of mensuration to find out the distance between the two heavenly objects over in the universe. We have to use some other method, which is the coordinate geometry. We use the coordinate geometry to launch the satellites also, to measure how much above the earth or whatever. So for that we use the coordinate geometry in the field of astrophysics. And then is the coordinate chemistry. So coordinate chemistry, when you will study how much distance is to be left between the two molecules to form a bond, okay, that you will study in your higher classes, and you will use the coordinate geometry in the chemistry. Okay, so when we have understood what is the coordinate geometry, let's see who has given the concept of coordinate geometry. He is Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes is a person who has invented, who discovered the concept of coordinate geometry. And it is said that he was lying on the bed in the room when he discovered the concept of coordinate geometry. He just imagined three axes of the room. From one of the corner over here, this 0 is the corner, and from there three axes are coming out, that is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. It is said that Rene Descartes was lying on the room and there was one fly was flying in the room, and he thought of a method. He thought of the method to measure the distance of the fly from any other object in the room. So the fly was moving here and there again and again, and from any object, with reference to any object, he started measuring the distance of that fly using these axes, that is x, y and z axis. and this is what forms the Cartesian plane. This x-axis, y-axis and z-axis form the Cartesian plane. Okay, so in this class in 9th standard we'll use only the x-axis and the y-axis. The x-axis or the abscissa and y-axis or ordinate. So you have already used this abscissa in your previous classes to plot the points like integers or natural numbers, whole numbers. So what he did, he just made a line which was perpendicular to the x-axis and set it as the y-axis or the ordinates. Okay, and this was just perpendicular to the x-axis, and then he just he kept this 0 of this x-axis or abscissa over the ordinate 0. So he got a Cartesian plane. So this is called as the Cartesian plane of x-axis and y-axis. A Cartesian plane is defined by two perpendicular number lines, x-axis which is horizontal and y-axis which is vertical. So you can see this is the x-axis which is horizontal, and this is the purple line is for the y-axis which is perpendicular to the x-axis, and this center point is the reference point of measurement in the Cartesian plane, and this is taken as 0. Okay, let's now see different quadrants of the Cartesian plane. So there are 4 quadrants of the Cartesian plane. The axis of two-dimensional Cartesian system divides the plane into 4 infinite regions called the quadrants, and you already know that these numbers can go till infinity. If we start from 0 over here, we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can go to any positive number. This goes till infinity. Over here also, this is the y-axis and this is the positive numbers above. So x-axis on this side there are positive numbers, and on ordinate or in the y-axis these are the positive points and below are the negative numbers. Okay, so these are the 4 quadrants. In the first quadrant you can see both the ordinate and the abscissa, that is x and y, are positive. Then in the second quadrant you can see that the x gets negative. In second quadrant x gets negative, and in y section all the numbers are positive. Then we come to the third quadrant where both x and y numbers are negative numbers, and then comes the fourth quadrant where x is positive and y is negative quadrant. Okay, so let's suppose 2 and 3, these numbers are to be marked in the Cartesian plane. So how will we mark the point 2? 2 is a positive number, and 3 is also a positive number. So that means it will lie in the first quadrant. 2 from the x-axis and 3 from the y-axis. This is the y-axis and both are positive. So the point will lie in the first quadrant. Similarly, this negative minus 2 and 1. This minus 2 will lie in the second quadrant and 1 in the positive from y-axis. So it will come in the second quadrant. Correct? Then the point is minus 3. Minus 3. This one is minus 3, that is x or abscissa. So you have to travel 3 from this 0 towards minus of x, so it will come here minus 3, and minus 4 you have to travel from the ordinate section in minus section, so it would be minus 4 over here. So here you will get the point of joining of these 2 points. So this is the third quadrant. Then is the point, okay, so minus 3 and minus 4 will lie in the third quadrant. From the reference point, that is 0, when you will see minus 3, this minus 3 will be on the x-axis on the negative hand side, and this minus 4 would be on the ordinate axis downward direction, because it is in minus, and above there are all positive y, but we need negative y, that is in the downward direction, minus 4. When you will join these 2 points, minus 3 and minus 4, it is coming in the third quadrant. Okay, and then see the last one, 1 and minus 4. So 1 is positive, this is positive 1, so this will come on this positive side of the abhisheka, that is positive 1, and the minus 4 will be on the downward direction because the sign is minus over here, so you can see minus 4 downwards. Then when you will join the points 1 and minus 4, you will get it here in the fourth quadrant. Okay, let's understand. Take one more example question for this. Determine the quadrants in which the following points lie. So just by seeing the points, you have to tell in which quadrant it will lie. See, in the first quadrant, both the numbers are to be in positive. But the first one, when we see, is not both positive. Here the first number is negative. See the quadrant number 2. Here the x-axis, all the numbers are negative, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So the first one is negative. Whenever the first one is negative and the second one is positive, it is the second quadrant. Okay, then see the second question. It is plus 8 minus 9. So plus 8 is the lies on the abhisheka, and minus 9, this lies on the ordinate. So minus 9 comes downward and 8 on the positive x-axis. So when first one is positive and the second number or the ordinate is negative, it will come in the fourth quadrant. Okay, this point where the abhisheka is positive and the ordinate is negative, this will lie in the fourth quadrant. Okay, now there are both the numbers in positive, plus 13 and plus 5, both are positive, so it will lie in the first quadrant, because here the x is also positive and y is also positive. This one was easy. And then is the minus 7 and minus 2, and both are negative. So in this minus 7, this will lie on this side, because here all the numbers are negative on the abhisheka or x-axis, and this minus 2, this will lie downwards because y is negative over in this direction, in downward direction. So both of them, when negative, it will lie in the third quadrant. Okay, so just by seeing the signs of both the coordinate points, abhisheka and ordinate or x-axis and y-axis, you can make out which quadrant it will lie. So when the first one is negative and the second one is positive, it is second quadrant. When the first one is positive but the ordinate is negative, it is fourth quadrant. When both of them are positive, abhisheka and ordinate, it is the first quadrant. When both of the abhisheka and ordinate are negative, it is the third quadrant. Okay, so I hope till here you have understood. We'll continue the chapter. Till then, please solve some assignment questions. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.